Welcome to Exorbyte Commerce Search. I'm going to tell you today why it makes absolutely no sense not to try it. Think about it. Exorbyte Commerce Search is free for 30 days. It's a true free trial. It may not last forever. And best of all, we don't take any credit cards. And best of all, this has been proven to increase conversion rates of online stores from 7 to 20%. As you probably know already, this can result in huge revenue increases beyond 20%. And in the very competitive space of online retail these days, that's a pretty rare feat. Now, I'm going to tell you why we do this and how we're able to get these results. There's a concept in the real retail world, the brick and mortar world, of floor space. And floor space means the space you get in a retail location, a supermarket, a boutique, to lay out your products, put shelves and aisles, and put as many products as possible. The more floor space you get, the more products you display, and the more money you make. Therefore, it makes floor space a hot commodity. Now, in the online world, it's a very different situation. In the online world, a bay of hard drives like these is sufficient to fit just about every product on the internet today. Billions of products could fit in there. So floor space is not the issue. Most online stores look more like this. They're stuffed to the gills with products. I mean, we're talking small retailers, equivalent of a mom and pop shop, with hundreds of thousands of products. Many retailers add products to their store because they hope to sell more. Now, it's not that easy, because another issue is location. And in the real world, people often say there are three main things you should look at, three main variables of success for an online, a regular retail store. And these are location, location. So location is very important. And in the real world, a best location is something like Times Square, right? Where all the brands want to be, because this is where the most consumers walk every year. You get consumers walking there 24 hours a day, by the millions, maybe the billions over a year. And if you have your brand and your products there, you're pretty much slated to make money with it. So in the online world, it's a little bit different. There is such a thing as Main Street, and Main Street in the online world, where all the stores are, is actually a collection of stores, and it's made of big stores like Amazon, eBay, the big box stores with online presence, Walmart, Staples, etc. All those that draw the most revenue online, and then a number of price comparison portals like Google Product Search, Shopping.com, The Find, Shopzilla, etc. Now, being in these places doesn't come cheap. Location is expensive online, and in fact, it's sold by the bits. You can, as you know, if you have an online store, buy visitors one by one through click advertising and different schemes. So you probably spend a lot of time driving visitors to your site. Now, how do you make them buyers? Well, let's talk about what your site looks like, right? If it was in the real world, and you might find the comparison a bit insulting, but the reality is it may look like this. It's not on Main Street, it's not the hottest store in town, and actually it maybe looks more like that, because many online stores are a bit derelict, they're somewhat abandoned, there's no attendance there, and getting a snazzy looking beautiful store is an expensive thing. Now, it may be fine if that store was manned with able salespeople, but most of the time it's not either. So how do you find products in that store? I mean, think about that store. It looks like a big warehouse and stuffed to the gill with products, and the products are not necessarily laid out in a way that makes them easy to find. They're not necessarily very well packaged. There's product information and pictures, but they're not easy to find, and they're not easily accessible. So findability for these products is not a guaranteed thing. Now, could you man that store with sales clerks? Well, online, not really, right? You could have people pick up the phone if people call or chat, but you can't always do this 24 hours a day, and the reality is there's no face-to-face contact with the customers, so the effectiveness of that strategy is not very good. You could get better signage. It's in essence online. This is category structures where you classify your products, but very often they're very deep and some of your products are very buried deep in the store. So you might be a small store that manages to sell 10% of its inventory regularly, but there are a lot of products that people will never find. The next thing you could do, product displays, right? You could do promos on your homepage, and most stores do. They'll put promos and free shipping and highlight some products that are popular. But can you really do the type of product displays that you lay out throughout the store like you do in the real world? Well, not as effectively, again, because the interface is not as engaging, right? Product packaging is a way products sell themselves in the real world, where online product packaging is not very effective because it's a picture, it's a one-dimensional media, and people can't take the product and turn it over and look around the product and feel the texture. It just doesn't happen. So what do we have here? We have this big warehouse filled with products, and how do we find products in the warehouse? Well, your entrance to the warehouse probably doesn't look like this, right? It looks more like the entrance of this warehouse, which is something like that. And the door is closed. The store is somewhat unattended. You could reach through it and maybe see some things or look through. But the window is small, and the window is the size of your computer screen, really. I mean, this is literally the fact. And how do you find products through a window this size in a huge store? Well, you use a search engine of some sort, or you browse through categories. But look at the store. It's filled with products. It's not going to be an easy feat. So you need a very good search engine, and that search engine is capable, should be capable of doing essentially the work of a good salesperson. So let's talk about a couple of trends that are the most important trends in e-commerce today. First of all, e-commerce has become extremely competitive. It's time for merchandising. That's what we like to say at Exorbyte. And the reason is revenue has grown to astronomical levels. These last few years, it was close to about $150 billion spent online in the US. But the growth is flat, and it's improved a little bit this past year, but it's very, very bad. I mean, it used to be in the upper 20 and even up to 30%, 5 or 10 years ago. Today, we barely get 8% a year, so it's not a very good growth. Made the market very competitive, and most of the sales are happening on a few large stores. So how do you compete as a small online retailer? Well, think about your customers, right? That's what people always say. So what do your customers want? And in this survey, which is the best source to find out what people are saying when they're not buying, so what are all these visitors you spent money to bring to your store who are leaving without buying anything saying? Well, in this survey done across thousands of stores, essentially the number one reason why people leave is they did not find what they wanted. But there are also a lot of other reasons that are related to findability. Findability being the ability to find products in your store. It's the number one problem, and it's the number one thing that Exorbyte adds to your store. Findability for your product. Other than not finding what they wanted, navigation, usability, lack of product variety, too little product info, product availability, all these things are related to findability of product or product information. Now, this is how we resolve it. If you go to any one of the stores using Exorbyte Commerce today, one of them is fitnessgiant.com, I encourage you to visit it, you would see a state-of-the-art e-commerce search system, which only costs a few tens of dollars a month. And for that price, in 10 minutes, we implemented for Fitness Giant, in this case, a search engine that's capable of featuring specific product attributes as way of refining the results, displaying product pictures and product information within that store as if that functionality was fully integrated in the store from day one, even though it was added by us in 10 minutes. I like to repeat it because it's not a small feat. And throughout the store you'll find suggestion interfaces. If people start typing a query, and literally after 2 or 3 characters will start suggesting possible relevant products for the query people are starting to type in any of the search boxes around the store. These product suggestions will feature prices, pictures, relevant categories, you name it. It's very interactive, and it basically does the job of a salesperson, with a sales clerk. It sells products and it helps people find what they're looking for, suggests other alternatives to them. It corrects spelling mistakes. People don't always know how to spell your products. That's a problem people don't have offline that they have online. They make typos. They spell phonetically, and some brands like Hewlett-Packard or Honeywell are very hard to spell. Most people get them wrong. There's 400 reported spellings of Hewlett-Packard, and how do you buy a Hewlett-Packard computer if it's not referenced under HB, which is often going to match against a lot of other stuff. Other stores that we use, Armor Venue for example, features our products again the same way, and you get suggestions, you get search results. In terms of using our system, if you become a user, you get access to an online account management system where you can configure your services. It literally does take a few lines of JavaScript to enable the system on your store. This is an example of the type of code we would add to a store. That's all it takes, and that takes 10 minutes. It goes into the head tag of the template. It's that simple, and we can help you do it. Many advanced search and UI customization options, graphically, changing the look and feel of your interface elements for your store. And best of all, think about what you would do in the real world with your salespeople at the end of the day. Sales reporting. What's happened in the store, how many people came, what were they looking for. We give you detailed reports that are actionable and can help you tomorrow improve the conversions of your store. That's what basically Exorbyte is about. Customers that have used this have reported conversion rates increases of 7 to 20%. This is significant, and we're waiting to welcome you as the next happy customer. So come to commerce.exorbyte.com, visit us today and try it. Thanks, and have an excellent day. Bye bye.